What is going on? What is this? Of course, the abyss. Joe Rogan's beef with 9./11 conspiracy with piracy. So it's just all pirate work, of course. And let's get into it.
He was?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He's an interesting guy.
Did he
man.
hold his hand above a flame?
No, he didn't. But we did hang him by his ankles and slam him into a pool like over and over and over again. He was
Relentless, right? And he's like, whoa, did you put his hand over fire? Who gives a bash who they're talking about? But wow, it's just, who knew there are people out there that are just defying just the apparent impossible. They're superhumans or some bash.
I forget what the stunt was, but I was like, Jesus, this guy's old to be doing this. But he did some physical challenges. I remember thinking, like, this guy is more fit and more active than most young people, and he was
Yeah.
deep into his 60s at the time
Yeah.
when we had him on Fear Factor. The only thing that screwed him up was in the end. The final stunt was a driving stunt, and it was at night. And unfortunately, his eyes are not that good, and he just couldn't see well without glasses. So as he was
Smashed.
driving the car, he slammed into something or something. Forget what it was. What, you got him there? No, it's all right. But I got a chance to talk to him for a few days.
You did?
Hang out with him. Very interesting guy.
Yeah. Yeah, very.
Strong
Very strong. Just like an ox. Arrgh.
mind.
Yeah, that's right. He had a talk show back in the 90s I was on when my first book came out, White People Believe Weird Things, and I talked about conspiracies there. And he
White people believe weird things. Wow.
asked me, well, tell me about conspiracies. I said, well, you tell me about conspiracy. You know more than I do.
He knows about real ones.
The real ones, yeah.
Oh, he knows real ones. Not the other ones. What are they talking about? Which piracy are you talking about?
That is my number one beef with conspiracy theories, is that when some of them that are so preposterous, like whether it's flat Earth or whatever.
Oh, see, of course, just relentless bashing. Because isn't your show about, bashing people's minds and shattering them and to open them to the abyss more and more? So, wouldn't something like, the notion that the earth is flat, for example, wow, wouldn't that be just something relentless that you just jump on and be like, wow, really? Just like they went and revised, so-and-so's theory and this, we had to tweak it a little bit. No, you can't. Now you can't because it's full commitment. Full commitment, full on. There's no going back. That's why you don't talk about it, and that's why you relentlessly bash it, because otherwise it goes along with everything else you talk about on your show. Just the kookiness, and then he's like, yeah, that's just way out there. That's just bosh, he says. Well, who knew? And who gives a bash? I mean, there's no winning to say, per se, in the sense of, wow, one day everyone will be like, yes, here's this. No, of course not. So this is just a relentless, just bash, a severance in just bashhood. It's being stimulated. The bashhood is being stimulated to just rev it up. Rev up the demolition. Because who knew? Who knew? For who knows how long, everyone knew the earth was flat. Everyone. And they were the modern of moderns, and they were even in the Atlantis, you say you admire and you adore and you worship. Right? All these who knew that that's what what it was to them. The Egyptians that you love, and all the Greek, all of them. So what's going on? Somehow your half bashed ape is better than the half bashed ape that was then? How? because they're so great, and we were standing on shoulders of giants, you know, to in lamest terms. But what's going on? What's going on? Oh no, we realized that they were just all wrong. They were all wrong, and we're right. And we're right. And it's been just this relentless progress and just this work and just of understanding, and we just have to revise this a little here and touch it over there and over here, just flip flop pancake, smash it and dip it in oil. Deep fry it and then come it out and smash it again and put it through the grill and then smash it through the oven at 450 for who knows how long. And now it's ready to be served. But by that point, people don't even know what they're being served. No, I don't even know. Did I order anything? Oh, it's free? Amazing. Yes, I'll take it. What is going on? Of course, it's just a fantasy that who wouldn't want? You grew up with it. You grew up knowing that Gaia, you have to, it's a cell. You have to just relentlessly give your life to it. And relentlessly just tie yourself to trees relentlessly so that people will come to their senses. Bosh. Just like this guy talking in circles. Talking in circles. Just shedding light where his light worship allows him to shed light on. Otherwise, darkness, abyss. Oh yeah, that's just bosh, he says. That's just ridiculous. Oh. Let's continue.
We're the really dumb ones. There's a base on the opposite side of the moon, and NASA knows about all the
aliens
really
are living
ones.
in New Mexico. Yeah. The lizard people.
The problem with those is they.
Okay, all the dumb ones, right? Who knew that there's people that would probably say, Joe, what are you doing, man? What about the breakaway civilization and how there's people in Mars already and all this and bash. Smashed. Smash. And who knew that at one point, of course, you believed that man had not gone to the moon and you believed that it was just a big hoax. And now you say, well, yeah, there is some things that, are proof of fakery, but no, that doesn't prove that they didn't went to the moon. It just proves that there's fakery. And there was people that just wanted to make money and this and that, just certain individuals. And that's it. Wow. What a shame. What a shame. But no, he's swelled up like a hot dog. Just ripping at the seams. Just, but it's so juicy. It's so juicy.
They undermine actual conspiracies.
Right.
When you
Actual
hear about
conspiracies.
preposterous things, and they get categorized as
Okay, what actual conspiracies? So who gets to say this is an actual conspiracy? Wow. It sounds so ridiculous. It sounds so stupid to say actual conspiracy. What does that even mean? Wow. An actual conspiracy. Conspiracy means some dealings behind the scenes, does it not? Orchestration, organization. Clandestine. Behind the scenes, behind that abyss backdrop you have back there. But this is the brick wall that you relentlessly smash your opponents on, right? Well, what's going on? What is going on? Conspiracies. Who knew that there could be one dude, one person, for example, one person like Snowden, for example, or just one bash, okay? One bash that leaks some data, and then all of a sudden it's like, just one dude. Don't believe that guy, but all of a sudden you need a whole fairy tale and a whole documentaries and a whole just the drama. Snowden became an idol. He's the image. He is the image of defiance to serve the people. So was that a conspiracy? What was that? No, that was a show. But so what is the conspiracy? What are conspiracies? Because everybody's just regular ass person, right? Everyone is just a regular ass person, and they're all just in bashing each other in bumper cars, right? Just relentlessly forward, reverse, forward. It's just a relentless Austin Powers, go kart scene when he's in the hallway, just smashing, smashed. All right. So what is this? What is this?
Conspiracy theories. Then when someone says, well, there's a conspiracy about this, well, it's already a tainted idea because the word conspiracy is connected to nonsense.
Right.
It's connected to nonsense. So what do you call it? Well, let's just make up a new word, right? Smashed. Who knew things like love and trust and words like government and all this bash that you slam every day also is meaningless? Oh, but no, those actually mean something to me, and I worship them all. So what exactly? Just relative smashhood. Nothing. Okay? So what conspiracy means to you, and I don't want to be associated with some nut. Right? Some nut. But I'm just going to blow my nut whenever I please. So what is it? What is it?
Because there's so many nonsense conspiracy theories, it's hard to recognize, something like Enron, that really did happen.
Yeah.
Like there is the Northwoods papers. There's a bunch of...
So this guy pretty much has to wait till it happens, or for it to be just totally blown open, and actual people, for example, for him to see to go to jail, and he'd be like, oh, well, I guess it was true. That was an actual conspiracy. Wow, what a bozo. What a bozo. What a clown. Okay, because what is he doing? He's saying, yeah, there's just bozo conspiracy theories out there, but there's actual ones, because like Enron, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, he can talk about that because who knew? There was trials and this, and some guy was a scapegoat, and they bashed him, then they publicly humiliated, ritual. Now everything's okay. Smashed. So what are you saying?
Of like legitimate conspiracies, you're like, wow, you find out about the Gulf of Tonkin, you're like, well, they really did that.
Yep, that's right.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, wow, they really did that. Wow, whoa. So this is all in retrospect. What about in the living? Okay, are you just that bozoed and smashed that you can't say, yeah, we're relentlessly rejecting what's in front of us, and we'll accept it if it ever comes to be on TV, or if it ever comes to be on the radio and I'm smashed with it for some reason. Ritual, exactly. So as long as I'm involved in the ritual, please just let me live my own smash image and leave the smash alone. Wow. Just brain trolled. Just trolled in lukewarm water. Just savagely, defiled by algae growth and just putrid toxicity. Just putrid toxicity, stagnant, okay? And you drink it, and you poop it, and you drink it again. All because it's actual. I go with what's actual. Rocky.
Yeah, I'm writing a paper now on why people believe conspiracies. And so I go through the whole list of all the psychological things, but I end with the whole second half is because a lot of them are true. And there are reasons we should be suspicious.
Yeah.
Just think of the
Okay, now Joe's like, oh, yeah, of course. Oh, no doubt. Right? He's like, oh, actually, my book at the end says, well, why should we believe them? Or why do people believe conspiracies? Well, because they're true. But he said, oh, because most of them are true. Or even if he said, because some of them are true. Even if there's just some of them. Wow. Who knew that it's instead of looking into things that pop up as quote unquote conspiracy theories or whatnot, or why aren't you so critical in thinking? You're only critical in thinking according to the bashhood that just approved by the, you guessed it, bashhood. And you're like, yes, oh, I'm so critical. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Who knew that it didn't give up? It doesn't matter what bash you're critical when you, wow, I'm so clever. I'm organizing this and this and this and that and this. No, all part of the smash. So what are you saying? What are you actually critical of? What do you see exactly? Do you see your bash image, or do you see the image you're in exactly? So what's going on? Who knew that there's perhaps people that see and are not afraid to just call things for as they are? And fine, they'll be shamed from the world. They'll be hated even, called fools, this and the other. Fine. Who gives a bash? But this guy's saying, wow, they're true. So he's like, it's worth to be, weary. It's worth.
The WikiLeaks or the Panama Papers. Like the Panama Papers, here's all these billionaires opening these shell corporations, keeping their money. They're not paying tax. That's a conspiracy. By definition, two or more people meeting in secret to conspire to benefit themselves that harms the public good or other people. This happens a lot.
Right. What exactly? This guy just smashed Joe. Okay. This guy just smashed him because he gave him, some actual bash definition. But in a sense, wow, who knew it happens all the time? Yet you scoff at it and you say, ha, it's foolish. Foolish. Because I'd rather just see the image that I'd rather see the witch's cookie house from the outside, yes, and see the witch as just the one that's trying to make me just better. She's trying to make me grow. Yay! I'm so enlightened. Smashed. Defiled. Who knew it was a spiritual battle for your soul? That is the so-called struggle. But no, you make it a fleshly struggle, and you just stay there relentlessly, bashing, Groundhog Day in, day out, smashing your head against a corner. Who knew there'd be who knew there'd be a generation where you're gonna want to kill yourself, but you're not gonna be able to? Who knew?
In the U.S. government, in corporations, there's a reason we should be suspicious.
There is, but what is it about people that want to look for a conspiracy in everything?
No. The swarm is relentless, Mr. On It. Because who knew? Who knew the truth is the only refuge against the swarm? So, in a sense, wow, yes, the ways of the world are relentlessly, you guessed it, defiling you, conspiring against, you guessed it, life everlasting. Relentless defiance, and it's legion. So it's not that people are looking for conspiracies or making them up. No, who knew people can just call it out for what they see according to, you guessed it, the trail. There's always a trail. And who knew people see it? And perhaps they're the only ones that are on your side, meaning on the side of what you would call life. But who knew that they are probably just trying to, quote unquote, help? Because you're going to say, oh yeah, they just want the attention and they just make up stuff and this and the other, blah, 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 blah. Isn't that what you want? You want that. That's why you have a show. You want all the attention, this and the other, the close-ups. Wow, just to talk with so many people of high light worship and all this kind of stuff. And wow, 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 amazing. Yeah, yeah. No, smashed. Okay. What is going on? You know what's going on. But it's so juicy. It's so juicy. And your place, your position that you hold is, wow, who knew? It's relentlessly boasting you and swelling you.
And if it's, they want to see contrails behind jets as evidence of the government spraying things in the sky to control.
No, they don't want to see it. Who knew that? Why would anyone want to see that? And if you're denying that, wow. Wow. Who knew that? Fine. I mean, it's not that it matters a bash because of again, it's just another mechanism, another method of complete blurring, just smashing. And why is it so hard to even fathom that? Oh no, the government would never do that. The government would never pollute its own citizens and poison them. No, never. Never. Wow. What a shame. What a shame. Of course, because it's relentless worship, and you guessed it, of that man's image, man's authority, and man's, notion of, oh, we have the best justice, do you know how many laws are there? It's just relentless wisdom. Smashed. Laws exist to keep the whole scheme of it all perpetuating. It's not in the least in favor of the life everlasting. And any fool, any bozo who believes it is, wow, smashed. And the so-called constitution that everyone, I mean globally, quote unquote, is idolized because, oh yes, it's just so righteous. Oh yes, wow. Who knew it would be like dangling candy on children, all the while defiling in the unmarked van with no windows. Who knew? Because who knew that it's all light worship? And the new America, the new era, the new land, the new promise, the promised land, was an orchestration of the light, a vision that man had to fulfill. Yes, we must do it. Yes, like the light telleth us. And amazing. It was all there. And who knew that genocide upon genocide, everyone learned according to, you guessed. At this point, it's a guess because really, World War I changed the world, as did 9/11. So what is going on? There's multiple people involved, okay? But it's all one story, okay? And it's not just about the money. It's key orchestration to position a hold on the image of what is seen as life. Wow, who knew? Who knew? But you love it, you worship it. So it doesn't matter what you consider a conspiracy because it's all relentlessly pushing the same image, the image of man. And who knew that anything that points out the relentless lies of that relentless lie are just, there's some actual ones, but most of them are smashed.
Our minds.
Right. So the sort of baloney detection tools are not too finely tuned. The problem is that the tendency is to look for some global, simple explanation for complex systems. So
again, he's
while
saying
we all kind of recognize, yes, we know
global solutions for complex. What is Batch? Just wordsmithing, defiling you, tickling you, tickling you into submission.
Corporations cheat and stock traders trade with inside information, but that's kind of small and mundane. It's not very interesting. Global domination of the world. This is who's doing that? So then it becomes like a Dan Brown novel. It's
Then it becomes a Dan Brown novel, right? Ho ho ho, and the Illuminati and all this and the Templars and blah blah smash. Because just as it is maybe curious and enthralling to make movies and books about it, and who knew it's something that maybe some people actually fantasize about. Who knew that? It's just so silly. No one can ever do that. Who knew that? Wow. Who knew that people actually go for did and have for generations? Not just stopped at that. That's so funny. What? No, they know they can. Wow, who knew? And who knew they're all part of little clubs like the one you belong to, and this and the other, and there's an organ of corpses and corpses upon corpses. Exactly. The stronghold. The Medusa that is required to relentlessly defile, portraying the image of, you guessed it, it's self-preservation. It's self-preservation and its sense of evolving into some bash.
It's more compelling as a narrative story about how the world works. It's super simple. There's these 12 guys in London called the Illuminati, and they're calling the shots, and they're controlling
the Bilderberger
the
group.
Bilderbergers, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds.
Right? They're laughing. And who knew that? Wow, those are names that pop up relentlessly throughout history, as far as going back to World War I, and of course before that, but majorly. But they believe that it's just those 12 people. What a shame. What a shame. Right, because a man is an island. What a shame. Who knew that they belong? It's almost like a swarm. They are the swarm. They are legion. So just because you call one family out or this or the other, wow, it's just light worshippers. And the priesthoods and the ordained temples of this, of Set, and this and that and the other. Again, legion. So, what are you talking about?
The Illuminati,
the CFR,
the New World Order. Yeah.
George Soros.
Yeah, it's all a joke. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. Didn't you just say most of the conspiracies are true? So what are you doing? What are you saying?
Doing it. He's a part of it.
Oh, totally.
That's what I hear.
He's number 13 in the Illuminati.
There's so many different competing theories too.
No, there's not. And if there was, who knew that there's disinfo out there and misinformation? Who knew? Wow. Relentless rabbit holes, relentless wormholes, and portals to nowhere. You guessed it. Just Smashhood. Because who knew it's all about getting you emotionally involved? But no. You're emotional because you are void of the Father's love. Do you see? Do you have the false love of the ways of the world that you were taught and relentlessly are it's futile, because no wonder more than half of marriages fail, because there's no idea of what love is. No idea. Because the 50% that do stay married or whatever, who knew that they'd probably just settle? They don't give a bash, because they also don't know what love is. So what's going on? What's going on? Light worship, exactly. Image worshippers. Just relentless images. Idol worshippers.
so a couple of criteria. The more people that have to be involved, the less likely it is to be true. It was Gordon Liddy that told me this, that, was it 3 people can keep a secret if 2 of them are dead. People can't keep their mouth shut. And also, he would...
Oh, what a shame. Just because everybody sees everyone as a regular ass person, and then they inject their own sense of morality into the image they see out there. So they're like, oh, he killed somebody? Oh no, why would he? Exactly, because they're projecting their bashed sense of morality that it's purely relative. But in a sense, they project their own righteousness into others and say, oh yeah, you're a bad person. Smashed. No idea.
No, because he worked in government. Most people are pretty incompetent.
Yeah.
So the idea that...
Oh, most people are incompetent. But who knew it's not most people that are doing this? Who knew? Who knew? It's most people that are worshiping the light, but the actual wizards and sorcerers and actual, priests, they have multiple names. But they love those names. And titles. So what are they doing? Nobody can keep their mouth shut. Everyone's incompetent. Really? So just the whole scheme is hanging by a thread, right? What a shame. It's just bashhood upon bashhood. This man is a liar. Because who knew that there was actual, hierarchy and lineages of light worshippers that go back generations that you probably don't even want to know. Because it would all be just bashed to you. It'd be, oh yeah, it's just ridiculous. Nevertheless, this person is a liar. Why is he lying? Because who knew that the very thing that he's saying, the government does. They are relentlessly portraying an image and relentlessly they're liars. Who knew? So what you're saying is bash because you're saying no. Most people are incompetent, and most people can't keep their mouth shut. So what is government? Because government is like the bot. It's what you see. It's the image of the authority you see. But nevertheless, you're talking about conspiracy. So who knew the government is a conspiracy? Because it's more than 2 people, meeting behind things and agreeing in secret and meeting this and then and coming to offer, defiling, you guessed it, life everlasting. Meaning, of course, it's within us. So who knew? It's just an orchestration of manipulation and smashing, the invisible hand that just smashes. Because that is the ways of the worship of the light. But you love it. So this person is not going to say, yeah, be inquisitive. There's no reason to trust anything that any authority figure says, because ultimately it's bash. And that's not to say that, oh, now I could just do whatever I want, because that's just further light worship, and that's exactly what they want you to do, in a sense of just, oh yeah, just complete, chaos. At which point they'll just come and blast you and just blow you away and say, see, this is what happens. Just nonsense.
That you could orchestrate 1,000 people and each of them is going to go out and do this one thing at 9:00 Tuesday, and it's all going to come together just perfect. Impossible.
Yeah.
Wow, what a shame. So you're basically saying that World War II was impossible because who knew that armies and all these plans and this and this and all these orchestrations and attacks and strategy and this and that. Well, that's not possible. What are you saying, Smashwood? And that government can have plans and this and execute them. What are you saying? Smashed. Who knew that? Oh, just because they wear uniforms, you can see them. Well, take their uniforms off and see what happens. Exactly. Just smashed. Just smashed. You don't even know, but you do know, and you're just lying.
And he should know. I mean, they couldn't even break into the Watergate Hotel room to get these papers.
Well, it's also who is getting
All staged, of course.
into government in the first place. Are they the geniuses of the world, the heads of their field, or are they people that just decided to get into a job? And this is a good percentage of the people that are involved in government. If those people know as well, these unexceptional folks that are just
no, it's the ultimate club, like a mafia. It's the ultimate mafia. So what are you talking about, Mr. On It?
uninspired. They were also there. Do they? It's they. That's
right. That's the they.
Air quotes they. Do they really have the kind of wherewithal to control the whole world? Mind control. That's my favorite.
Right.
Mind control. Psyops.
I mean, this idea.
Who knew that images do smash and brainwash you? Oh no, it's not possible. What a shame.
That operatives went into the World Trade Center buildings, both of them, two of the most tightly controlled and secure buildings in the world, and under the pretense of working on the elevators, managed to get into and break through the drywall to get into the main beams to wrap them up in explosive devices, this thermite stuff. And this would, we know how long it takes to demolish a stadium or a big building. They're there for weeks or months preparing all the explosive devices. Somehow they did this in the World Trade Center building without anyone noticing. Not to mention all the people that worked on this, they never told their spouses or friends or buddies or, what they were doing, or they didn't.
Oh, why would they? Okay, first of all, wow. This person is asking, this person obviously has never watched any heist movies or anything like that. But who knew that movies are just bash? But in a sense, they portray things that actually happen. Maybe not as Hollywood, but they happen. Who knew? And people don't use guns anymore. They're shapeshifters, so exactly. Masters of disguise and this and this and Legion. Who knew? They're just they're just regular ass people. So what's going on? And at the same time,
mention it to anybody. They don't want to go on.
Why would you say, oh, it's impossible? How could they, go into the elevators and work relentlessly and this without people noticing? Oh, how is that possible? How is that even possible? Smashed. And at the same time, you know how long it takes to demolish a stadium and this and that. Wow. So are you going to say it was impossible to build the World Trade Center? I mean, whoever thought? I mean, to him it's just ridiculous. Who would have ever thought to build the World Trade Center and make it, unbreakable? Who would have thought? And then just two planes bashed it all, even though they were built to resist the bash. Oh no, it was the fuel. Just smashed. Just smashed. Smashed. And truly not the collapsing of those buildings changed the image of the world from that point forward. So it was a ritual. Who knew? Who knew? And who knew that countries mean bash? And they're all in agreement, and they do as they are as best benefits the world affairs. Because yes, they all promote the same image. Who knew? Who knew?
CNN or 60 Minutes and go, I saw something and here's what happened. Nobody.
Yeah. Well, anytime you have a gigantic catastrophe like that, just a gigantic, horrific event, there's so many emotions, there's so much chaos, there's so much going on that you're going to get a bunch of really wacky eyewitness accounts because people just aren't good at remembering things when they're under extreme duress. And it's just a fact.
Yet there's relentless videos out there that were shown on relentless channels of viewers. So now you're gonna say, oh no, those ones are right, because they clearly have wow, they captured the plane just relentlessly on time and target and just relentlessly captured it and all that stuff, right? To you, that's proof and all this stuff of what? Who knows? But it believed that person because it was just blasted everywhere. And you saw it everywhere. But no, there's some kooky ones. There's some kooky ones that, who knows? They were just bashed. They were just emotional. What a shame. This guy, who knows? This is trawled.
They hear things, they remember explosions, they see things that aren't necessarily what was really in front of them. That's just, the human memory is one of the most flawed ways of gathering information.
Right. So is that what happened to you? Where you were just split, weren't you? You were shattered into 1,000 points of light, and now you don't remember. You don't remember this, and that's why who knows? Now it's just, who knows? I just like to hear through my headphones and just hear it, and who knows? Who knows? Who knows? You're just a who knows. You're just floating with it while it defileth.
It's terrible. We have terrible memories.
Right, and everything, once something happens, then you back up and look for all the sort of pregnant moments leading up to it that otherwise would have been unnoticeable. Like with the JFK assassination, there's a famous story about the umbrella man.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so there he is. It's a clear, sunny day. Why does he have an umbrella? And for decades, you can go online, you can see these examples of how the umbrella could have been turned into a rifle, and then he shot like that. And anyway, somebody finally tracked this guy down decades later.
So exactly, who knew that was false? There was edits to the video that was seen, okay? There was edits to it. And the image that you saw, who knew? It was... Who knew what it was that you saw, but it was edited. And at the same time, who took the fall for that is just Smash. And it's the official story. Now it's done with. Move on.
And he said, I was out there protesting Kennedy. The umbrella was a protest, and that stems back to Neville Chamberlain coming back after meeting with Hitler before Hitler annexed, I think it was the Sudetenland. And he came back and said, holding his umbrella, here I had, here Hitler signed this paper and promised he wouldn't do anything more bad. And so the umbrella became a symbol of, sort of caving into evil people, or what's the word for it? Appeasement.
How convoluted? Do you think people are going to get that?
And no. I don't know. He's out. So this is what he said. I had my umbrella because I didn't like what Kennedy was doing with Castro and the Cubans. Okay, so in other words, the umbrella meant nothing in terms of the assassination.
Right.
So why did you talk about it, Smashed?
This is true. So like 9/11, there was this little puff of smoke, or somebody found this passport over here, this little thing. All those little things, really, it's just randomness.
Well, the other thing is...
Exactly. just randomness, but it's part of the official story. They found the passport. That's how they identified the terrorists and all this. They out of all the smithereens, they found it. And so, what are you saying? What are you saying? Are you saying not to believe the official story? What are you saying?
It's the people that want to think that the windows blowing out are indicative of some sort of controlled demolition,
Yeah.
or the buildings caving in.
It's the floor pancaking.
Yeah.
It pushes the air out.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, there's never been a controlled demolition that went from the top down either. Like the way they did it.
How does again the heat required to melt those beams that were built to withstand planes smashing into it. So again, the fuel was what just melted and made the whole building just pancake. And that's what blew out smashed.
The plane
Right.
slammed
That's right. They
in
all
and
go
then-
from the bottom up, right?
Yeah, it's the one that looks crazy is Building 7, Tower 7. That one looks crazy.
It does, but it burned for like 8 hours or something.
Oh, no. Liar. Open liar. No burning building collapses like that. No. No. What a shame.
Yeah. That one's just slightly fuzzier.
And it wasn't even burning. That's the story. That's the official story, but no.
Explosive experts.
And of course, all the debris was quickly just, sealed off debris, and you guessed it, just taken away. Amazing.
Tell me that it's fully explicable by burning all day.
Well, also, when you see the images of it collapsing, what you don't see is the interior structure had collapsed previously, and there's video of that where you watch the interior
right.
cave in,
Right.
and that as this fire was burning, because apparently there was, obviously I don't know what happened, but there was diesel tanks apparently in the basement, and the diesel fuel had burned incredibly hot, and the whole inside of it, all the structure had been completely weakened.
Right, there was just relentless diesel in the bottom. Yes, diesel it up. Wow, shame. What a shame.
And then as it collapsed, it just all gave out.
Yeah.
It just happened to be
It just happened.
a shit design.
Wow. This is what lying looks like. This is the face of a kid that's lying. Look at it. Wow, amazing.
If I was the guy who owned that building, I would sue everybody. I mean, he got his money back, I guess, because there's some insurance money. But
yeah, and who knew that? Wow, that's a flag. Relentless insurance money was collected, and it was insured quite recently, right before. And so, what's going on? No, you won't talk about that.
What a terrible design.
Terrible design. What a shame. So then everything that's built is ever a terrible design, because who knew that it could come to bash? And so therefore you're going to say, what terrible design. It couldn't withstand some burning and relentless diesel. Terrible design. What is this guy saying? Smashed. I guess the Pentagon was a better design, because whatever the plane that supposedly blew right through it barely made a hole in it. I mean, there's a hole, but no plane went into there. It was more likely a rocket or a missile than a plane, but no, it was a plane. Wow, smashed.
Issue with the legal insurance payout to the owner of the World Trade Center buildings, whether this was like one event or two events or one building or two, what is it? Was it? The difference was between like $8 billion and $16 billion payout or something like that.
Oh wow! How do they get people to get into that new building? I'd be like, fuck you.
Change the subject.
Not renting an office in this building. This building, they blew it up in '93. They blew it up again in 2001.
Right.
Get out of here with this shit. I'm not taking a chance on this new ass building. What is it, the Freedom Tower or something like that?
Tower, yeah.
That's just a big old bullseye.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't been in it yet. I've been
Big
around
old bullseye.
It's not even that big.
Well, I think it's taller than the.
It's not. It's not as
pretty
big as the original.
Who knew that just as you build a tower with blocks when you were a child because you were in Fantasyland and you then smashed it? Wow, who knew that that happened? Hmm.
Towers, right?
I think it is as tall. I think
Is it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I thought it was shorter. It's definitely not as big as the one in Dubai. The Dubai one's like a half a mile, right?
Who
Isn't it
gives a
something crazy
bash?
like that?
I don't know.
How tall is the tallest building?
So what's
It
your
is-
beef with
I just went to
9/11?
their-
Or what are you
the
gonna
One World
say?
Trade Center leasing page. It says at 1,776 feet, One World Trade Center is the tallest LEED gold certified building in the Western Hemisphere.
That's not good enough.
The
Whatever, I don't
tallest.
know
This is
what LED
America.
gold
We need to be
We-
number one.
Number one in
We
the,
need to
the
go straight to
Western
the moon.
Hemisphere.
in the solar system.
Yeah, we need to take an elevator right to the fucking moon. Right outside of space.
See,
is that
he
possible?
laughs about it.
Can they build a building that's so high that it goes into space?
Oh, the Tower of Babel. Who knew? There's nothing new under the sun. The same bash horde. So, what do you see?
Why not?
No, I don't think so because structurally it wouldn't hold. I
Why
think-
not? Let's make it the shape of a pyramid.
Well, it's like why aren't trees 1,000 feet tall? Because the material would just collapse. I don't think you could have it strong. It'd have to be so fat.
Oh, that's right. Japan was going to build that space elevator. Oh, look at it. You got jacked with the pop-ups. Japan takes tiny first steps towards space elevator. Yeah, you could fuck off. I'm not getting in that thing. It would take a few years before I'm willing to climb into that sucker. But
So this overlaps to the
So
other
problem
video
with
that
conspiracies, just to get back there for a moment, is the problem of anomalies. What do you do with anomalies? This is true in all science. No theory explains every single thing that's out there that we want to study. There's always going to be some.
exactly because there's no theory that would ever. That's why you need all these departments and splitting of fields of study, of focus. The ones that you know you can have a grasp on, that then use to formalize an image of an overall agenda for humanity. What is going to be the most appeasing to this generation and the next and the next and the next and the next? You guessed it. All resulting in the same thing. Go into some galactic family. Smashed. Smashed and smashed. That worship requires abandoning of the life everlasting. That's the relentless severance of the lifeline to the Father. All because you rejected the kingdom. The true kingdom of life everlasting. For the kingdom of man and the worship of death.
Like quirky thing that the main theory here that explains all these things here, it doesn't account for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what do we do with that? Well, my joke is you assign it to a grad student. They let them figure it out. But what outsiders mistake is that, well, my theory explains this little anomaly, so therefore it should replace this theory. And so people like Neil and Sean Carroll, Lawrence Krauss, Michio Kaku has like 2 web pages.
So why is it okay for us to tweak past theories, right? And not relentlessly tweak our own? What's going on? Shouldn't we? What if we had it wrong? For example, why would it be so hard to be? Whoa, okay, guys, because we're so relentlessly thinking that we're so good and truthful. Okay, guys, we can't. We need to just hold up. Look at this, right? So what would that mean? Oh no, it's not. It's that's impossible because we're just so relentlessly so right. I mean, that's why we have all this technology, right? Smashed. Who knew that all this technology is possible? You can put dust of this and dust of that and make this dust, and this dust and that and make this other dust. But what's going on? it it all is it's selling you something, because yes, you use it, but it's selling you something. It's rewarding you. It's rewarding you in the image that you think you're creating for yourself to some bash future. Wow, what a shame. What a shame. Because the shame is the denial of life, truth, and the way.
He has a link on his webpage. If you have an alternative theory of physics, go to this page. So they go there, and it has, your theory has to explain all of these things over here that our theory currently explains, and your whatever your said anomaly is. And of course, they can't. So it's not that scientists are dogmatic.
It's not that they're dogmatic. Of course it is. Because who knew there's all these hive minds, all these relentless departments of this, of psychology, of medicine, and then splinters of medicine inside that. Specialty this, specialty that, and then in chemistry, biology, physics, and all these departments, there's relentless split, and all of them somehow just come together to some hive mind image. So who knew that it all is? It's a weaving of it's a web. It's the web of man, the spider web. Oh, it's so beautiful, but it traps you and relentlessly feeds on you because, wow, it's so amazing, it's so wonderful. But then you become the spider, and anyone who says, "Hey, look, it's a spider web," you say, "Stop." Smash it, defile it, poison it, and then eat it. All because, oh, I'm right, and my image is wonderful. Any person that worships their image, smash wood. There's the image you are in. Wow, who knew?
Closed-minded to the anomalies. It's that we can't explain everything, and you don't have to do anything with that. Just leave it there.
Just leave that open gash open and move on. Just accept the shank and move on. Wow.
There, maybe eventually they'll pile up, and there'll be a new theory, like with Einstein's relativity. Okay, there's enough anomalies here. Like the orbit of Mercury and a few other things, and so we have to modify Newtonian physics a little bit. Okay.
Right. So we could just shapeshift this and shapeshift that and put this in, take this out. Yeah, now we're good. So you're saying just fit things to smash onto what we already have. Because look what it's given us. Look. And I'm wearing them right now. Look. Smashed. All gifts of the worship of light. Who knew? And who knew there's no blasting through the sun? And who knew there's no blasting to anywhere? You are the purpose. The flesh is a purpose. To see. To live. But what? The truth. The way? No. There's no truth. There's no truth. We will never know the truth. Smashed. Smashed, bro.
That happens. But for the most part, and so conspiracies are filled with these things. Like the moment something big happens, you go back and, okay, but there's this weird thing here. How do you explain that? I don't know. We don't have to explain everything.
I don't know. We don't have to explain everything. That's right. Here's the thing. Who knew that the way of the Creator? Wow, created the image you're in. Wow, who knew? And who knew that there's the only thing that man is here to see is the truth, meaning life everlasting, the way. Because that is the true promise and not some false promise of a life in your bash image that you relentlessly bash yourself and others to somehow obtain by perpetuating some bashhood and relentlessly defiling Groundhog Day in and out, up and down and sideways and inwards and backwards and sideways down in the pavement, relentlessly skidding. Oh, just, whoa, this was just
Days
bashwood.
of gathering information.
Bashwood. Because instead of saying, wow, I don't believe in the mainstream stuff, there is some lie here there, but overall we got a solid thing here, guys. Right. The honors and the respect of those who worship the light. That's what you got.
Right.
It's terrible. We have terrible memories.
Right, and everything.
Oh, Bosh.